When I was very young, my mom died of bone cancer, so I never knew my mom. I grew up being a little girl who was very afraid. We were very mistreated. We didn't have toys and we didn't have storybooks. However, we did have the Bible. And at a very young age, I asked Jesus a very important question. I just looked up to heaven and I said, Jesus, why do I have to stay here? Nobody loves me and nobody wants me. I just felt this warmth come over me, and I heard a voice say, I need you to stay here. And from that moment on, I've talked to Jesus and I've trusted him throughout my entire life. When I walked in from school one day, I started to walk into my room, and my dad said, Hey, Vonnie, I got something to tell you. And so, of course, as soon as my dad spoke, I stood completely still and listened because I didn't want to upset him in any way. And he proceeded to tell me that I was quitting school and getting married. I didn't argue with my dad because I was afraid of him, and I never spoke anything against what he said. I just did what I was told. So I quit school, and in December I turned 16, and in January I was a wife. In a very short time, I realized that my husband had a sickness. He had an addiction to drugs and alcohol. And when he used those substances, he made very poor choices. And over the time we were married, he did some things that were harmful to me and my little son. He said things that were very harmful. He actually put our lives in danger many times. It was not at all what I had expected that marriage would be. I didn't feel loved. I felt like I didn't matter. And after I had my son, he gave me a reason to keep going on. And it helped me to see that I did matter. Because my little boy needed me. And more than anything, I wanted him to experience the love that I didn't feel as a child. After being married about 5.5 years, he came home one day with a 16-year-old girl who was 3 months pregnant with his little boy, and he told me to get out and to take my son with me. He was done with us. I felt like a failure. Had a lot of conversations with God about it, and I would cry myself to sleep. I remember one night specifically when I was just pouring my heart out to him. He gave me the words of a song that we used to sing in church. I don't need to understand. I just need to hold God's hand. And I've been holding his hand through everything that I've gone through in my life. Over the years, I eventually found out that my ex-husband had been sentenced to life in prison. Well, during that time that he was in prison, my son kept in contact with him, and one day I got a call and it was my son, and he was crying. He shared with me that his dad had been diagnosed with lung cancer. He said, will you please pray for my dad? And without thinking, I was like, well, yeah, sure. I'll pray for him over the phone. And I thought to myself, why did I just say that? All the anger and the frustration and all the hurt that he put me through and he put my son through, I was so sure that that first initial conversation with him was not going to be very kind. So when I called him and he immediately broke into tears, my heart ached for him. And God helped me to see him as his child who he loved. I was able to have a conversation with him that was kind and so much different than what I had thought it was going to be. I said, I want to pray for you. And as I was praying for him, I could feel things changing within me. I felt the burden go away and the heaviness and the hurt and the anger go away. And I was able to shine Jesus' love to someone who really had never really shown me love. The weight of forgiveness it's amazing how God can just take that all away from us when we just trust him. His love for us is unconditional, no matter what we do. He loves us right where we are.